people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. We're a little over 2 weeks out from what is intended to be the Isaac Cruz versus Romero fight. Cruz promises a slow beatdown and fight against Romero that could steal the show.
Rolly's a fucking retard.
And if this fight goes the way I think it's gonna go, that's what it will accept. That you turned down more money with Ryan for less money with Isaac, just to end up losing your belt anyway. Isaac Cruz gave Gervonta Davis a tremendous battle in December of 2021.
Jesus, it's been that long?
2 years. The Baltimore product emerging with a narrow victory on the cards, Cruz has proceeded to knock out two foes and endured a lackluster affair in July against the awkward style of Giovanni Cabrera to claim a split decision win. There's a real mystique about Pitbull, and that opportunity to look sensational against Rolly exists because Romero tends to just stand there. This might be a slow beatdown and a fight that steals the show, Gibbons said of a card headlined by the junior middleweight title fight.
That's not for a title.
Right. Tim Tszú's WBO title is not on the line in the Keith Thurman fight because it's being fought just above junior middle.
The WBO wouldn't sanction it.
Because they don't think Keith Thurman deserves a title shot. He's not even ranked at junior middle, so why should he get to fight for a junior middleweight title? It makes sense, but somebody should have told Lance Pugmire. He's the one who wrote this article.
You're fucking up, Lance.
Isaac Cruz has expressed determination to erase the bad taste of the Cabrera bout and capture the WBA title at 140, the title his father, Isaac, longed for during his own career. The elder Cruz fought the likes of Vernon Forrest and John Molina, and Isaac Jr.'s grandfather, Memo Cruz, fought Pipino Cuevas, among others. Winning here would make his dad's dream come true. This is the same belt his dad wanted, Sean Gibbons said. Sean Gibbons, who handles the career of young Isaac,
who has parlayed a competitive loss to Gervonta Davis into a bit of a following, a cult following, that could be amplified if he wins, if he becomes a champion.
I think that he can, and I think that he will, because Rolly Romero,
he's ass.
He's terrible. Winning here would make his dad's dream come true. This is the same belt his dad wanted, Sean Gibbons said. More importantly, it would allow Cruz, by winning a belt in his 140-pound debut, to enhance his case for a rematch with Davis, who is due to headline a main event June 15th in Las Vegas versus Frank Martin. It would mark a remarkable rise for the married fighter,
father of two,
who formerly scrounged just to buy tortillas, Gibbons said. If both Cruz and Davis win, this fight should happen, Gibbons said.
It might.
Now, as it pertains to another fighter, another pressure guy like Isaac's a pressure guy, another Mexican national like Isaac is a Mexican national, William Zepeda was in action yesterday, and the story is that fight with Maxi was a WBA eliminator.
I don't understand.
Gervonta Davis is WBA champion at that same weight. He's WBA champion at lightweight. Do you think Gervonta's gonna fight him?
No.
Do you think he's gonna fight the winner of Lomachenko versus Kambosos, or do you think he's gonna fight the winner of Navarrete versus Berenchik?
No.
Do you think he's gonna fight Shakur as Stevenson?
No.
Then who is he gonna fight?
Maybe he moves up in weight. Maybe he faces the winner of Romero versus Cruz in a rematch that would be for the WBA title, the full title.
The last time that Gervonta Davis was up there, he fought for a baby belt, a regular title, at a time when Josh Taylor was undisputed champion. Mario Barrios, who Gervonta Davis fought, he was only a secondary title holder. That was a secondary title that Gervonta won. He didn't really become a full-fledged champion.
If he beats Frank, and Isaac beats Rolly,
Gervonta can then move up in weight and challenge Isaac for the full WBA title. It would be for a full title this time.
if he wants to do it.
Do you think he wants to do it?
He might.
Gervonta's not likely to fight for any of the other titles at 135 pounds because they're on other sides of the street. The WBO, the WBC, the IBF.
They're a top rank.
And William Zepeda is coming closer and closer to becoming his mandatory challenger. And I don't think he wants to go to Golden Boy.
I don't think he's interested in fighting William.
When you look at it that way, is there much reason there at 135? Is there much reason to stay there after the Frank Martin fight if you're not going to pursue any of those other titles, any of those other fights?
No.
There you have it. A fight between Gervonta and the winner of Cruz versus Romero suddenly becomes a distinct possibility. I think Isaac's gonna win. I think Isaac, in spite of all his drawbacks, he's a more put-together fighter than Rolly Romero, at least compared to Rolly.
Don't get too caught up trying to rate these guys against anybody else because they don't fight anybody else. PBC guys, primarily, they just fight each other.
Primarily, when they fight other guys, other fighters from other sides of the street, they tend to lose. But that's not the case here, so don't waste too much time on that. Focus on Rolly and Isaac. And for all of Isaac's faults, he is a more put-together fighter than Rolly Romero. I think he wants it more.
Rolly's garbage.
Rolly Romero recently parted ways with his longtime trainer, Coach Bullet.
I don't understand.
Gonna be experimenting with a new corner, experimenting with a new style. Is this the fight you want to do that in? Is this the opponent you want to do that with? You want to go experimenting with Isaac, who has more of an identity as a fighter that he's settled into.
I'm not high on Isaac. I'm just saying that he's more put together as a pressure guy than Rolly is as anything.
Rolly's only advantages going into this fight are physical advantages that, yeah, he's a little taller and he's strong.
But Isaac is strong, at least to some degree he is.
So if both guys are strong, somewhat strong punchers, what determines the outcome?
Who lands first?
I like the overhand shots, the looping shots from Isaac Cruz as he's barreling forward, more than I have confidence that Rolly can work around them, more than I have confidence that Rolly can stay out of the way. I don't think he can.
He's not defensively sound.
He's not really good at anything, to be honest with you.
Rolly sucks.
I don't think he has the footwork to maneuver around Isaac's come-forward aggression, the defense to stay out of the way of the punches, the looping punches, the overhand punches. I don't think he has the durability to withstand what gets in. So I think Isaac is going to beat him. I think Isaac is going to stop him.
Intangibles.
And I think Isaac wants it more. Isaac comes from a fighting family. His grandfather, his father, hell, even his aunt, Erica Cruz. She's a fighter. She's a boxer. She's a champion.
He wants to be one too.
Being a champion doesn't mean anything to Rolly Romero.
He's a fraud. And he knows he's a fraud.
To Isaac, becoming a world champion, it means something to him, to his family, his heritage. I think he wants it more than Rolandio Romero. And I think he's going to get it.
Romero is not a serious person. He's not a serious fighter. He's not a professional.
He's a meme. He's a GIF. He's a funny soundbite on YouTube. But a boxer? A champion?
Fuck out of here.
Why don't you get the fuck out of here?
Stop it.
So I think Isaac is going to get to him. I think Isaac is going to beat him. And if and when he does become WBA champion, I could see a Gervonta Davis rematch happening later on in the year on Amazon Prime. Elsewhere in the men's lightweight and super lightweight divisions, Bill Haney, the father of Devine Haney, says Shakur Stevenson brings nothing to the table.
But Ryan Garcia does?
Well, he does bring all his Instagram and TikTok followers that may buy this fight. Let's not kid ourselves. As limited a fighter as Ryan is and as unstable as he is popular. So when unbeaten lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson posts on X that he would love to step in for Ryan if Ryan ends up withdrawing given his erratic behavior, the elder Haney gave that suggestion no air. We're training as if we have a fight with Ryan Garcia, Haney told Boxing Scene on Saturday. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize that. I can't negotiate with or accept any offer from anyone. Fuck Shakur Stevenson. On X, Stevenson posted a reply to someone speculating Garcia would withdraw from the fight by next week. Damn, I reached out to Bill, didn't get a reply, but we would love to step in, especially in New York.
These guys talk too fucking much.
Team Stevenson, Team Haney, they both do, because the reality of it is far more mundane than people realize. For starters, this show is a Golden Boy promotion show.
If something happens to Ryan and somebody has to stand in, it'll be a Golden Boy Promotions fighter, not a top-rank fighter.
It'll likely be somebody that's fighting on that same show. And who's fighting on that same show? Who's on that same card? Arnold Barboza is on that same card. So if something happens to Ryan, I would sooner expect the people at Golden Boy to give the fight to Arnold than a top-ranked guy, than a top-ranked fighter.
It's not a top-ranked show, you fucking idiots.
If something happens to Ryan. Ryan Garcia's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, refuted the notion of an impending withdrawal Saturday on a DAZN card headlined by Golden Boy Promotions' William Zepeda. De La Hoya urged viewers to disregard Garcia's odd rambling posts and said he had just spoken to his fighter and he believes he's working hard in the gym. Bill Haney clearly wants that message to stay on point and not allow this disarray to unravel toward a search for a replacement opponent.
The boxing world preys on the boxing community's stupidity too much. If something were to happen to Ryan, the fight's not gonna go to a guy that's with another outfit.
Use your fucking head. If Shakur wanted to do anything, why bring it to the media? Haney asked.
That's rich coming from you.
It's rich coming from Bill. Bill brings everything to the media. Hell, he's in the media more than his son is. The way it would work if Garcia pulled out would be for Haney to negotiate with a promoter or manager such as Stevenson's handlers, Bob Arum and Jay Prince. I can't negotiate with Stevenson. If he agreed to anything, he'd still have to go back to Bob and Jay Prince and ask them. Him getting into my DMs? This is all some bullshit. I thought he and Tank Gervonta Davis were gonna fight. What happened to that?
He's dumping the responsibility of fighting Shakur on Gervonta, even though we all know Gervonta's not gonna do it.
In the end, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit from Bill Haney, it is, but it's also bullshit from Shakur. It's bullshit from both sides.
This is a Golden Boy Promotions show.
Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney or Arnold Barboza versus Devin Haney. Golden Boy is at the helm of promotion. Golden Boy is in control. And if something happens to Ryan, but Devin wants to fight anyway, in all likelihood, he fights another Golden Boy fighter, not a top-ranked fighter.
Comprendo, friendo.
Stevenson had a terrible performance last time. What makes you think we want to fight you? You bring nothing to the table, said Elder Haney.
Here we go.
Don't use that as an excuse not to fight Shakur Stevenson. A terrible performance? A terrible performance. Regis Prograis had a terrible performance with Danielito Zorrilla, but that didn't stop you from fighting him.
So why should it stop you from fighting Shakur?
Well, Regis did have a belt. He did have a belt for Devin Haney to win. All the same, don't bring up a terrible performance as an excuse not to fight a guy when you just fought a guy that had a terrible performance. It can be turned around on you. And it has. Shakur Stevenson himself reacted to Bill's comments by saying, so basically, I bring nothing to the table because of a bad performance, but y'all fought Regis and Loma right after bad performances. Yeah, okay, Bill. You can trick the fans and hide who you are, but you can't trick me, my guy.
So bullshit.
They're both winding people up. Do you think Shakur Stevenson is at liberty to go fight on another platform, on some other promoter's show, as a short-notice opponent?
No.
He's still under contract with Top Rank. He's still a top-ranked fighter.
So when he says that he's willing to stand in if something happens to Ryan, maybe he means it.
But he's still not at liberty to do it. And when Bill says what he's saying, that Shakur brings nothing to the table, that sounds a lot like what Gervonta Davis and Leonard Ellerbe used to say about you. You sound like them. That makes you a hypocrite.
Cut the crap, Bill.
So bullshit, like I told you. It's bullshit from the Stevenson side just as much as it's bullshit from the Haney side.
You don't make a fight like that as a short-notice fight. Where's your common sense?
As it pertains to a fight that is more likely to take place, Bob Arum has now welcomed the possibility of a Shakur S. Stevenson versus William Zepeda fight to happen next.
Let Oscar De La Hoya call me, and I'll get that fight done for July. We have a date, July 6th. The Prudential Center is reserved. We certainly would consider him.
It all sounds good, it all sounds encouraging, and in truth, Bob and Oscar have a better working relationship than, say, Oscar and the PBC or Bob and the PBC, so I don't rule out the possibility that the fight could happen. I just don't think it's going to be next. Not next. Not while William is buzzing.
Oscar's just gonna truck him off the top rank just like that?
I think that Oscar De La Hoya, perhaps more than Bob, and perhaps more than Shakur, perhaps more than William, who says that he's ready for Shakur, I think Oscar, more than anyone, would want to marinate that fight a little while longer.
Why?
Because of what I told you. William is very close to fighting for an alphabet title. Yesterday's fight was both a WBA and IBF eliminator. If he waits a while longer, he can position himself to challenge Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, but Gervonta's not gonna fight him. You know that.
I also know that Gervonta Davis isn't going to fight anybody else at this weight, so why would he stay there? Gervonta Davis's next fight after the Frank Martin fight, if he wins, his next fight after that could be at 140 pounds for a 140-pound title.
He might move up.
So say that William Zepeda stays on the WBA route, decides to position himself to fight Gervonta Davis. Gervonta might move up in the next couple of months after the Frank Martin fight to face the winner of Romero versus Cruz, at which point, if William plays his cards right, he can fight for Gervonta's old belt.
If he vacates it, if Oscar puts pressure on the WBA.
That's what they might decide to do, and that would make a potential Stevenson versus Zepeda fight more than just a fight. It would be a unification match. It could be in a year's time.
No, Oscar's no stranger to marinating fights.
Shakur, as Stevenson reacted to Williams' win, his dominant win over Maxie Hughes, saying, if Maxie Hughes gave Kambosos the fight of his life, but Zepeda destroyed him, how good is Kambosos? Or the better question is, how good is Zepeda? I'm excited. Let's make Stevenson versus Zepeda next, please. Pressure busts pipes or makes diamonds.
Can Shakur win?
My previous video, we talked about the stylistic matchup, how Shakur is a pure boxer and William is a pressure guy, and more often than not, pressure fighters, they wear out pure boxers. They wear them out.
Like William wore out Maxie yesterday.
But Maxie Hughes is no Shakur as Stevenson, which is what makes this fight so intriguing.
Well, do you ever recall a pure boxer beating a pressure fighter? Does that even happen?
At least one instance I can think of off the top of my head where that stylistic matchup took place and the pure boxer won. It would have to be the Arislandi Lara versus Alfredo Angulo fight. Now, Lara did struggle in that fight because Angulo's a pressure guy, throws punches and bunches, is willing to take one to give one. But in the end, he did win. And he won because he did compete at a higher level than Alfredo Angulo. That Lara was a higher grade of pure boxer than Angulo was a pressure guy.
That if Lara was a B+, Angulo might have been a B- to a C+.
It's rare. I won't deny to you that it's rare, but in rare instances, it does happen. In rare instances, the pure boxer prevails.
More often than not, it's the pressure fighter that wins, but in rare instances.
It's not outside the realm of possibility that Shakur could win this thing, but there really is only one way to find out, and postulating is fun, but it's no substitute for a fight, an actual fight.
And that's what we're here for. We're here to see the fights.
I would like to see this one, though. I'm no wide-eyed optimist. I'm cynical. Being a boxing fan for as long as I've been a boxing fan has made me cynical over time. And I think it's too good to be true to expect Stevenson versus Zepeda to be next. I don't think it's going to be next. It can happen,
but I don't think it's next.